Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here, and today we got another Washington Commanders, weekly stream. And today, where it's going to be just me, and we're going to be recapping week 2 of the Washington Commanders training camp. We'll talk about injuries, some of the biggest, takeaways, and much, much more. So appreciate everyone for coming through. And yeah, if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. What's up, DeAndre Taylor? Appreciate you for coming through. So yeah, nothing. Honestly, the first couple weeks, there's been nothing crazy in training camp. I mean, the biggest kind of things have been injuries, like the Chase Young thing when everything started out there. You got the Chase Roulier thing. I mean, the big injury is kind of Curtis Samuel that we're still kind of talking about. What's up, King Sean? Appreciate you coming through. Make sure you guys check out King Sean. He's got a great Commanders channel as well. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the main thing today. I was kind of out, so I didn't have time to make a video and I wasn't keeping up with everything. I did see, though, that Cole Turner did have a little bit of an injury. His hamstring tightened up a little bit. So that's a little concerning, but we'll see how he's doing if he's practicing. I think they have an off day tomorrow. So if he's practicing on Sunday or Monday as well. What's up, Raymond? Appreciate it coming through. So that's kind of the injury we're monitoring right now. Also, De'Ami Brown was out the last couple of days. He was out on, I think, Wednesday, and then not there on Thursday for the walkthrough, I believe, and then Friday out as well. And one thing, I will be at training camp on Monday, so if you guys are there, yeah, let's try to meet up there, and yeah, it should be fun. And I'll let me know if you guys want to see a vlog or just a normal recap. I did kind of a mini vlog last time, and yeah, just let me know what you guys want to, which one you guys want to see. So yeah, King Sean, you're right. Our tight end one right now is Curtis Hodges. We have a ton. I like our tight end room, but right now we've got a lot of injuries. And yeah, actually, I forgot. Samus Reyes got hurt, and you're King Sean. You're also right. Tomorrow's open practice, but yeah, Samus Reyes got hurt yesterday. Which or today actually, he tweaked his hamstring as well. So both him and Cole Turner, they tweaked their hamstrings, and John Bates is out with a calf injury. Logan Thomas, obviously, with a torn ACL. So the tight end room is not looking great with the injuries, at least. So our tight ends are Curtis Hodges and Armani Rogers. So yeah, hopefully these guys can come back soon. John Bates, Ron Rivera hasn't really given a timetable at all about his injury. And then, Cole Turner and Samus Reyes, those injuries just happened. And then Logan Thomas, he's out. He might be out for the first week or two. So, but I'm not too concerned because I think Cole Turner, there was a slight tweak. He should be fine. Who knows how long he's out for. And then let's see. Samus Reyes, I really don't think it's a big deal because I don't think he's going to make the roster. And then John Bates, I'm hoping he's back soon. And I didn't show this in the other video, but this is a hat I got signed on whatever Tuesday, I believe, for training camp. So you guys can see some of the signatures. It's hard to see all of them, but you guys can see that right there. Got a bunch of signatures. Really, really fun. If you guys are there, just bring something to sign or to get signed because it's somewhat easy to get signatures. I got, I think, 10 plus, and some bigger names too, like Chase Young, Logan Thomas, and Jonathan Allen. The only one I didn't get really that I really wanted was Terry, so hopefully I can get that on Monday. Let's see. Raymond says, why is no one talking about wide receiver Brown? Or I think that's what you're talking about. De'Ami Brown. I mean, De'Ami Brown's been solid, and going into, or at least so far in camp, he's had some up and down days. When I was there, he struggled a little bit. He had a few drops, but the first week of training camp, I heard really, really good things about him. So, it's just about consistency, but I feel like he's kind of their fourth receiver right now. It goes Terry, Jahan, and Curtis if he's healthy, and then De'Ami and Cam Sims, and then the rest, whether it's, Dax Milne, who's looked really good, or Alex Erickson. Like, if I had to pick the receiver room just based off how good they are as receivers, not considering the punt return, I would put Dax Milne in that room over Alex Erickson 100%. Dax Milne looked really, really good when I was there, and I've heard good things about him. Like every day I hear, he has a catch or he has another catch. I don't really hear anything about Alex Erickson. He's kind of running with the threes. Dax Milne's running with the twos for the most part. So he's a guy that like I think could sneak onto the roster. If they keep 7, I think he definitely will be. If they don't, then it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. For sure, the receiver room's looking good, but they're little. Washington's kind of catching the injury bug right now with Samus, Cole Turner, De'Ami Brown. I'm trying to think of the other guys. I mean, Logan Thomas and Chase Young were already injured, but starting to pile up. John Bates, Troy Apke, some other injuries as well. So hopefully they can get healthy soon. Like they got the practice on Saturday, so that should be interesting. And then Sunday's an off day, and they're back for training camp on Monday. So let's talk about some and I probably will be making a video on this in the next couple of days, but standouts from training camp so far. I mean, obviously the big one is Jahan Dotson. I mean, he's been lighting it up. His route running's been good. His hands have been great. And yeah, I mean, we know he's going to be good this year. Just how good will he be? I mean, I guess we don't know, but I think a lot of us are pretty confident that Jahan's going to have a good season and could be the number 2 receiver on this team. I think he will be the second option in this offense behind Terry McLaurin. Just Curtis Samuel isn't healthy enough. He isn't consistent enough in terms of his health. Like, even if they are just ramping him up and ramping him down and they're not concerned at all, he's still missing time. So, Jahan isn't. He's getting more accustomed to the offense. He's more talented than Curtis, in my opinion. So I think he'll be the second option on this team. Logan Thomas was back week 1, or if he is back, then that's something that could change because Carson Wentz likes his bigger targets. John, what's up? Yes, Cole Turner got hurt today in practice, kind of tweaked the hamstring a little bit. No further update on that, so it doesn't seem like it's a huge deal, but you never know with these hamstrings, with these soft tissue injuries. Buffalo Soldier says, I hope Cam Sims takes a step up this season. And yeah, I mean, I think in 2020 he had a really, really good year, like almost 500 yards, and most of that, he missed he didn't play the first few games of the season because he didn't make the roster. And when he did play, it was kind of on special teams until like sometime like week 4, week 5. So he was really good that year. And then last year, he wasn't great, but he also didn't get as many touches as he probably should have. This year, he won't get as many because the receiver room's a lot better, but I think he'll be used in the red zone a lot because he is their biggest receiver by far. And, Carson Wentz likes to target those bigger receivers. So, I think he will have maybe a few touchdowns this year and maybe like 300 yards. Like, I don't expect a huge, huge year from him, but I think he'll be solid for sure. And I think he'll be active on game days. We'll see. And you guys can keep on asking questions because I don't have another guest on today. So it's just easier if I just, answer questions from you guys. Raymond says, how is Brian Robinson doing in practice? So when I went on Tuesday, I didn't really notice anything crazy from him. Like out of all the running backs, he popped the least. I would say Jarrett Patterson was the best. Gibson had some moments, but he wasn't getting that many touches because he's still coming back from the hamstring. And then Jonathan Williams and JD look good, but I've been hearing some good things about Brian Robinson the other days. And Gibson today had a couple fumbles, I believe, including one goal line fumble. So that's just something that he has to fix. He has to fix the fumbles. I mean, that just cannot happen again. And if it does, then you might just have to give all the goal line carries and all the carries inside our own 15 to Brian Robinson or even just Brian Robinson because you can't be fumbling. It really cost us some games last year, especially that Chargers game. Like maybe we wouldn't have won, but we definitely would have had a chance if he did not fumble the ball at our own like 3-yard line and they got a touchdown right away from that. So that definitely can't happen. Yes, Yusuf Patterson. I mean, I don't know from the other days, but from when I went there on Monday or Tuesday, he was really, really solid, consistently getting like 5+ yard gains. I think on a few plays, he got like a 10, 15+ yard carry. So he looked the best out of all the running backs, in my opinion, when I was there. Again, that's just 1 out of 9, 10 days. but he looked good for sure. Yes, I agree. We need to sign another linebacker. We need to sign another linebacker. And yes, I know people in the comments or watching this video back are going to say, well, they usually only use two linebacker sets, so they don't need another linebacker. Well, I keep saying this, they're one injury away from playing David Mayo or Khalid Hudson 100% of the snaps, and I don't want that to happen. And you will be using three linebacker sets sometimes, whether it's 20 to 50% of the time, you're going to be doing it. And in those snaps, David Mayo will be playing. So I think they need another linebacker, and I think AJ Klein would be a really solid option. Is he going to be an elite player? No. He's going to be an average starter at best. But we don't have another average starter right now. We got Cole Holcomb, who's above average, but besides him, we don't have another guy. Jamin Davis, hopefully has a good year, but I honestly, I'm not buying it this year for Jamin Davis. He hasn't really popped out for camp from what I've seen and from what I've heard, and he's still kind of a project. So I think signing someone like AJ Klein would really help them out. I also heard John Bostic. I'm not a huge Bostic fan at all, but he's probably better than David Mayo. It's sad that we even have to think about like who's better, David Mayo or John Bostic. I wish they would go other options. Like they're, because right now their excuses, for not signing a bigger name guy is, oh, we're a month out from the season. These guys don't have enough time to get accustomed to the defense. So we have to sign guys that have been in the defense or been on this team before. So yeah, but they could have done that 4 or 5 months ago because they knew the linebacker room was sorry, and they could have gone Alexander Johnson, Anthony Barr, Quan Alexander, guys like that way, way, way earlier. What's up, Exotic? So I think that was one of the biggest mistakes of the offseason. We'll see if it comes back to bite them. But for now, I think that the linebacker the linebacker room's the biggest weakness on this team for sure. And there's not that much they can do to improve it besides signing someone like AJ Klein or Alexander Johnson. But I don't even know if they're gonna do it. We'll see. I still feel like they're gonna sign someone like AJ Klein, but I just don't know why they're waiting. Like their reasoning, or this is what Rivera said, we're gonna wait, we're gonna see how our linebackers look, and then we'll go from there. Well, Trey Walker today retired, one of your undrafted free agent linebackers. Drew White tore his ACL, and like, what are you waiting for? You're waiting for like your other three undrafted free agent linebackers to pop, or Milo Eifler to pop. Like, what are you waiting for? Get another linebacker in there. At the very least, worst case scenario, you cut him if those other guys somehow pop. That's the worst case scenario. I just don't really understand it, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when they get to the season. We'll see if it's a good or bad decision by Ron not getting a linebacker. So if you guys got any more questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat. And yeah, King Sean, I agree. Terry needs some more red zone targets this season. I think this team's going to be a little scary in the red zone because you got someone like Terry, obviously, who's going to be able to beat guys one-on-one or even on a double team. You got Jahan as well. You got Cole Turner, 6'6" target in the end zone. Logan Thomas, another kind of 6'6" target. And I think, even J.D. McKissick running some routes there as well. Like, that's going to be hard for opposing defenses to stop. So I'm excited to see what our offense can do. I'm thinking of some other standouts from camp so far. Montez Sweat has looked really, really good so far. So he's definitely on the list of players that have impressed. I'm trying to think, besides Montez Sweat. Carson Wentz, today I heard didn't have a great day, but I think the day, 3 days before, he had a really good day. So I might put him in the standouts list. I'm trying to think of other guys. Cole Turner, I forgot. Cole Turner has looked really, really good so far for the Washington Commanders. And unfortunately, he got hurt, but I think he's going to have a pretty big impact in his rookie year if he can stay healthy. And it really depends on when Logan and John Bates come back. Because if those guys don't come back soon, then he's going to be the tight end one, and he'll be getting all the targets. So he could be a fantasy sleeper for you guys, depending on how those guys recover from their injuries for sure. So he's a guy that definitely has impressed on offense. On defense, Cole Holcomb's looked pretty good. Yeah, Benjamin St-Juste has been looking really, really good from what I've seen, and it's been in the slot but it's just hard to move him to the outside because they already got William Jackson III there and Kendall Fuller there. So I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. I just don't think they're going to do it unless there's an injury. For now, he's going to be in the slot, maybe Buffalo nickel, but he's been looking good in the one-on-ones. He's looked good, been keeping up with Terry, Jahan, all the receivers basically. Obviously, he's losing some reps, but for the most part, he's getting the best of the other receivers and a little bit handsy on those one-on-ones, and that was kind of a criticism of him coming out of college. But he has looked really, really good for the Washington Commanders this off season, and he's definitely one of the standouts in my opinion. And then I talked about it briefly before I saw the comment, but Cole Holcomb has looked good as well. And I think we know what we're going to get from Cole Holcomb. We're going to get at least above average or average linebacker play, but I think he has a chance to be something special. Like I think he can be a Pro Bowl type player. I don't know if he's going to win it just because it's hard for these guys that weren't first, second round picks or guys that pop right away to get those Pro Bowl nods. It's usually guys like Brandon Sheriff who top 5, top 10 pick was solid every year and he got an automatic Pro Bowl nod. And it's just unfortunate some of the guys like Cam Curl, 7th round pick, and is never really going to get the recognition he deserves. And that's just because he got drafted in the 7th round. So, yeah, we'll see. He has also looked good from what I've heard as well. I mean, I didn't really notice him too much in when I went there, but it's hard to focus on 90 players, but he's looked good. I think Kyle was mentioning he's been one of the standouts so far from training camp. So good to hear that for sure. And then Sam Cosmi, held his own against Montez Sweat in the one-on-one passing drills on Tuesday when I was there. So he's looked really good for sure. Also, guys, comment down below what players you guys want me to focus on on training camp on Tuesday, because I'm going to try, instead of looking at everything, I'll try to focus on like maybe 5 to 10 players if I can. Let's see. Eckham says, but the fact that Nakobe Dean health concerns rumors were fake is so bad for the team. Even if it wasn't fake, man, just I still would have drafted him in the 3rd round, 2nd round. I would have drafted him I much rather would have had Nakobe Dean over Fedarian Mathis. Fedarian Mathis might be a solid pick eventually, but again, much rather have Nakobe Dean, who's going to be a solid linebacker in my opinion, versus a guy who's going to be. I mean, eventually, I guess he'll probably be our starting interior defensive lineman, but at the moment, he's going to be our third or our first guy coming off the bench in rotation. But Nakobe Dean definitely, I think, could be one of the steals of the draft, and a lot of teams are going to be regretting not taking him. King Sean, and what's up, Philip? Appreciate you coming through. King Sean says, how did Fedarian Mathis look when you went on Tuesday? I think I saw one pass rush rep from him. Again, it's hard to focus on everybody, but he looks solid. I think, only one rep, but you could see his power, but like those one-on-one drills aren't really meant for him. So it's, better to see in the actual 11v11 reps, but I didn't really get to see that much. Yusuf says, I meant to ask any word on Sam Howell. So the day I went, he looked pretty good. They were just running a lot though, so it was hard to really tell. Like the first team, second team, and third team were running the ball a ton. Not many deep passes were thrown. I think the one that was thrown was like a 40-plus yard completion from Taylor Heineke to Kyrick McGowan, undrafted receiver out of Georgia State, I believe. That was the big play of the day. Sam Howell, though, you could see he's got much more. He's got a better arm. He's got more arm talent than Taylor Heineke. But I think he's a third stringer for now. And especially if you want to win, I think Heineke should be the backup. Eventually, though, next year, I think you could have Howell as a backup and maybe let Taylor Heineke go, depending on, how things are. What's up, Door Gunner? Appreciate you coming through. And, I saw that you got the Terry McLaurin jersey. That's great. I got a Terry Washington football team jersey. And then after that, we'll see. I think I might be sipping the Kool-Aid, but I think I'm gonna get Jahan Dotson jersey. Ooh, we'll see. And yes, next week practices are open to everyone. signed up. So yeah, I'm gonna be going to Monday. So if you guys are there, just let me know. So DeAndre Taylor, appreciate the $2 donation. Says salute Pedro. How's the D line depth looking? So I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of looking a little thin right now because Chase gonna be missing at least week 1, probably week 2. So that means your starting defensive linemen are going to be, or edge rushers, Montez Sweat for sure, and then James Smith Williams, Hill, or Ethio Bada. So already, I don't like that too much. But then after that, you really don't have much depth. I think they should sign. I've been saying this for a while, a veteran defensive end, even a veteran defensive tackle, because besides Federian Mathis, they really don't have anyone. So I'm not liking the D line depth besides Federian Mathis. And there's a few guys that are cool, but they're role players at best, like second, third string guys. And you don't have any really good backups in my opinion, besides maybe Federian Mathis. We don't know yet, but we're assuming. And then Effie Obata, I think, has a chance to be a really good depth piece for them. But I'm not liking it. So I think they should try to get someone else. It might be a little bit too late, but I think D line depth and linebackers are the biggest holes on this team and defense. Yeah, Daniel Wise is solid as well. He's another versatile guy that they have. So, but I still think they need more for sure. But appreciate that donation. I had the salute to service Terry jersey last year. Yeah, I mean Terry's the safest jersey to get, especially um, now that he is extended. It's a great jersey to have. So I got a Terry, I got a Chase jersey, and then next is either going to be a Jahan. I was thinking about getting an Allen. I was doubting what I was going to get until we drafted Jahan, and his hype's been going up. So either one of those two, might wait a little bit for Jahan because I don't want to get ahead of myself and make another bad jersey purchase because I've made a couple in the past, including DJ Swearinger. Wore it for a few days and then he got released on Christmas Eve. Could not return the jersey because he got released. So that was really unfortunate. Yes, Sam Howell, Diami preseason connection about to go off. I hope they give De'Ami Brown some more reps just so he can play with Heineke, or not Heineke, with Howell. But I don't know if it's going to happen because De'Ami is the fourth receiver. So he's going to be getting some reps with the ones. And honestly, if Curtis Samuel, his injuries are still, if he's still dealing with that injury or the ramp up, whatever they want to call it, he's not going to be playing. So De'Ami is going to be your number 3. So unless Wentz doesn't play, I don't see De'Ami and Howell, getting on the field at the same time. That's just me though. It would be nice though. It would be nice because they've got that connection. They're close. So hopefully it happens, but I don't know. It would have to be a game where Wentz doesn't play at all. Ecom says, should Percy Butler start over Bob McCain this year or after this year? I mean, I think as long as Percy Butler develops, I mean, ideally, Percy Butler is your starting free safety. I mean, ideally, this is what your secondary looks like. Maybe after this year, Cam Curl, Percy Butler as a safeties. Then you got William Jackson third and Kendall Fuller on the outside, and then you got Benjamin St-Juste in the slot, and then maybe Derek Forrest as the Buffalo nickel. I'm trying to think. Is this is Kendall Fuller's last? Is it his last year or is it his? Was it? It was a 4-year, $40 million contract. So I think it was a 4-year deal. So this would not be his last year. Because I was thinking if it is his last year, then maybe if you can't keep him, then you move BSJ to the outside. Door Gunner says I need a jersey of the GOAT Tressway. Yeah, I need to get. I'm not gonna get a jersey of Tressway, but I need to get a auto on Monday from Tressway. Hopefully I can get that. My goals for meeting players on Tuesday or Monday, Kerrigan would be nice, would be really, really good. Terry McLaurin and Carson Wentz maybe. And then also meeting, Coach Ron Rivera would be cool. Okay, yeah. So this is Fuller's 3rd year. And yeah, William Jackson the third was a 3-year deal. So they'll both be done at the same time. Let's see. Emmerich says, "What's the chance Wentz doesn't improve and we see Heineke again?" I think it's a very low chance that if Wentz is healthy, that someone else is playing QB. I think it's very low that if Wentz is healthy, that either Howe or Heineke is playing QB, especially Heineke, honestly, just because like what's the upside unless you're like Wentz is playing awful and like they're still somehow like in a good position, maybe in the last few games of the season to make the playoffs, then maybe you put Heineke. But let's say you don't really have a chance to make the playoffs. Maybe they play Hal in the last game of the season, just so they don't injure Wentz. But that's all I could see. I think Wentz is going to be playing all year unless he gets hurt, and then Heineke will be the next guy up because he's the perfect backup to have, in my opinion. So, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I hope the only QB we see is Wentz this year. I really do. But we know how it is with Washington QBs. It's just never what you expect. I mean, last year Fitzpatrick almost never had any injury issues, and he's out for the year in the second quarter of the first game of the season. Of course, we had Garrett Gilbert playing a game last year before, just a ton of crazy stuff. Every single year, it's just something crazy. And hopefully they don't have to deal with that again this year. But if they do, it won't surprise me that much. Let's see. He says, Pedro, could William Jackson III be a surprise cut if he struggles this year? I think he could. Just because he's on a 3-year contract, so if he struggles again, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to get out of the deal. Same thing with Curtis Samuel. Like he's the guy that I definitely could see them cutting if he has like either a bad year or he just plays like 5-6 games. I think it's time to move on from Curtis if that's the case. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself a ton because we're still over a month away from the start of the season, so he's got a lot of time to heal. And who knows if the games were starting right now, he would play. But I think that if he doesn't have a good year, then I think you cut him, save some cap space, and move Diami to your wide receiver 3 to utilize him a little bit more. So, but yeah, I think those two could be, they could cut. But I think William Jackson III, he's another guy I think has played pretty well so far this camp. Heard some good things about him. He's been keeping up with the top receivers. He struggled last year for sure. Penalties and just his overall play was not very good, and that's a lot of that is on him, but also first year in a new system with a bunch of new teammates, so it was an adjustment period for him for sure. So we'll see how he does this year. Second year in the system with these teammates, pretty much the same team, same defense. He says Patrick West says, I hope Curtis has a good year. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Dorgana says going to opening day, probably not. We'll see though. I mean, the best games to go to are the first few games of the season when there's still hope, but also when the weather's warm. So I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. We'll see. We'll see though. But yeah. So guys that have disappointed. I mean, it's hard to say disappointed because it's just training camp and it's pretty early. But like, I'm not hearing like a ton of things from Jamin Davis. Not hearing a ton of great things from him. So he's a guy that like I wish I was hearing more from in terms of the positive side, and we really haven't heard much from him. I've heard some not great things at times. I've heard a couple big plays as well from him. I wish we heard more because we need a big jump from him in his rookie year what we got last year to this year. So if we don't get that, our linebacker room is already not great, and if he's not even close to an average linebacker, it's going to really hurt them. So he's a guy that I wish if hopefully he can play better, but we'll see what he does in the preseason. He's a guy that I don't care. Give him almost all the reps at linebacker. Like give Cole Holcomb like a series. I want Jamin Davis minimum playing a half. Like if the starters are playing a quarter, I want Jamin Davis playing double whatever the starters are playing. I know he's going to start probably, but I need him playing double what everyone else is playing on the defense because he needs those reps. He needs those reps for sure. And yeah, we need him to be good this year for sure. Um, em, Emmert says Gibson's a concern at the moment. I don't know. He's not a huge concern to me. The fumbling is a little concerning for sure, and the injuries are. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it definitely is a little bit concerning, but slim down a little bit. I think he'll be fine, and I think he'll have a big year for them. Let's see. Can you see us above 500 this year? Need the offense to be better. I think. I think 500. I mean, I definitely can see us above 500. I think it would be a very disappointing year if they aren't above 500. Like my prediction at the moment is probably lower than most people. 9-8. 9-8 is probably my prediction. Just because the linebackers really concern me. Like if they had signed even someone like AJ Klein, I'm going 10-7. I'm going to 10-7. So let's see. Dorgunna says I'm flying out from Miami. Plan to try to make 3 games this year. First game, Dallas game, and maybe another. I have to sell the rest of my season tickets. So I mean, yeah, you got to do what you got to do, but it's good that you're able to go to 3 games. Which one's is Dallas is the last week of this season? So the other one, I think they play the Vikings at home, don't they? That would be a good game to go to. Kirk Cousins game and what's it called? Blackout game. So that would be a good game to go to for sure. I think that is home though. I think that is home. Let's see. Yeah, Dallas is week 18. So, we'll see. I'm hoping that the atmosphere of FedEx Field is better than it was last year. And the thing they gotta do is win. So if they win, fans are going to show up, and besides the Cowboys game, if Washington's winning, they should have the majority of people there will be Commanders fans versus other teams. Cowboys, they usually dominate whenever they play us the last 5 years. Same thing with the Eagles the last few years, but hopefully we can change that this year if we start winning. But yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough for sure. So I'm trying to think of other things. Any questions you guys have, go ahead and put that in the chat. It says this linebacking core has been in shambles since 2020, and we could have gotten Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah 2 times in the first or second round. I like that we picked Sam Cosmi, but Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah would have been great in the first with Cosmi in the second. But they want to draft Jamin Davis, reach on him. He was projected to go in the second round, late first, early second. We reached on him in the middle of the first round. It is what it is at this point. Can't change anything from it, but yeah, hopefully he can play good. I mean, already they missed on the evaluation. They thought he was going to be a middle linebacker. He's not a middle linebacker. He's an outside linebacker right now. So he's got to step up. Like he's got got the most at stake in my opinion. One of the players with the most at stake. Some other guys, Carson Wentz. I'm trying to think. Drawn Payne, just because not for really Washington, but I think I'm talking about how much money he gets in free agency. And Deuce says Kerrigan should play till Chase comes back. I mean, I would love that, but you brought up, something that I want to talk about. Kerrigan coaching, he's been there for training camp, which is great. Talking to the players, helping them out there. I love that. And I would love if he could get some role in the organization, whether it's, media, he talked about possibly doing that, or it's some assistant coaching role. I just don't really see that for him, the assistant coaching, just because like he just retired, he has 3 kids, he's got a wife. Like, does he really want to spend 14 hours a day doing coaching? I don't know. So maybe they could have him as like kind of like a mentor role, something like Doug Williams was before, where he can just go on the field, chop it up with the guys, help them out when they want. Maybe do that for a year or two, see if he really likes it, and then maybe go on from there. I know that's what they're kind of doing right now, but just on a 2-week period, 2-week trial. So let's see. Eckham says, "Do you think we should have traded for Justin Jefferson?" I mean, that's kind of hindsight's 2020. So I mean, it's hard to say that. I mean, I think 2020 Chase Young. I mean, it was going to be hard to do that. We didn't have a second round pick, so it was going to be tough to do that. So I mean, yeah, it was unrealistic. It was unrealistic, and yeah, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook are going to be a headache week 9, whenever we play. Yeah, you have it right there. Week 9, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for sure. Kirk Cousins got a bunch of weapons. at his disposal. And yeah, he's been good. We can't deny that. He's been the best. We haven't had a quarterback close to him since he left, a while back. So, we'll see what he does. But it sucks that it's a 1 o'clock game because, you know how he plays in those, late night games. But we also don't play great. So it is what it is. But yeah, we'll see how he does this year for the Vikings. But I'm hoping we could win. So in the chat, go ahead and give me your record prediction for the Commanders this year. Again, I'm kind of in between 9 and 10. I could see them. Winning more than 10. I just don't feel super super confident about Wentz. And then also, I do not feel confident at all about the linebackers. That's the big thing right there. Wentz, I know he's gonna be better than Heineke, what Heineke was last year, or at least I'm confident he will be. The question is how much better and how consistent will he be? I remember there was a play, I posted this on the vlog, but he kind of rolled out, or he got some pressure, rolled out to the left, and then kind of just did a flip or shovel pass to the sideline, but Benjamin St-Juste almost picked it off. He almost picked it off, and I was like, dude, do not be doing this in the game. Do not be doing this in the game. So, those type of moments get me scared. So, Philip said lowest 8, highest 11. I can agree with that. I would say lowest. I could see them getting 7. If everything goes wrong, 6 or 7. Highest, I could even go more than that. I could see, if Wentz has a really good year, defense looks good. I could see them winning about 12 games at the most. With 6 or 7 being the lowest. But seven would be the worst case scenario. If they win 7 games again, talked about this on Rio stream yesterday. They win 7 games again and are drafting 15 or anywhere from 13 to 18. That's just so bad. That's terrible. That's the worst case scenario for this season. Is they win 7 games. If they win 7 games, it's terrible. I know people don't like to hear this, but winning 3 games next year with the QB class that is coming out is much better than winning 7 games and you're not being in a good position. You got Bryce Young this year. You got C.J. Stroud. You got the Kentucky QB. I know not a lot of people like Spencer Rattler, but he's coming out. So there's a lot of guys that you can go for sure. Much better QB class than last year. I think it could be a better QB class than we had in 2021 with Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Davis Mills, all those guys. So worst case scenario is they miss the playoffs and get a mid-round first-round pick or mid-first-round pick. Emmerich says 8 to 11 till Wentz hits the field with confidence. That's my top at the moment. Another question says Pedro should Holcomb get an extension? I wouldn't mind it. I would, try to get them early. I like the philosophy of trying to get players early or trying to get paid, players paid early before their value goes high. I like what they do with Jonathan Allen. They got him paid early, and if they would have, waited, they would have had to probably pay him 4 million, 3 million more per year. So it's a good move by them for sure. Let's see. No, I'm not saying for them to tank. I'm just saying, if they won 7 games, that would not be good. If they won 3 games, still would not be good, but at least they would be in position to get one of the top QBs because this is a good QB class. Then will Wentz or Ron get the pressure to draft top QB, so possibly 6 and 11. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Gary says, I heard Gibby still fumbling the rock. Shake my head. We can't have that this year. Yeah, for sure cannot have Gibson fumbling the football this year. Yeah, I think he had a goal line fumble. I think Rio posted it on his channel. That cannot happen. He cost us that Chargers game. We could have had a chance to win that game. And he cost us other games as well, or at least, hurt us in those games. So he needs to improve on that because if not, Brian Robinson is going to be getting those goal line reps and those reps from 0 to 20, or inside our own 0 to 20. So yeah, Gibson's definitely got to, improve on that. Let's see. Hearing that Heineke looks better in camp, is that true? Not noticeably better. He looks okay. He looks solid. Nothing special though. I mentioned it earlier in the stream. He had a nice 40-yard pass to UDFA wide receiver out of Georgia State, Kyrick McGowan, a 40-plus yard pass. So that was good right there. Let's see. Philip says, honestly, if Wentz gets us 9+ wins, do we even look for a QB? He could be the answer. We just don't know yet. I mean, it really depends because I think this team could win 9+ games with Wentz looking like eh. If he looks good and we win 9+ games, then of course keep that QB. If he doesn't, I mean, if we can, I don't know. It's just a tough scenario because for Wentz to be our franchise QB, we need him to play better than what he did last year in Indy. Because like what he did last year was, okay, it was solid, but it wasn't like top 10 QB in the league like he was in 2017, 2018, and 2019. Those are the years. I don't even need 2017 Carson Wentz. Give me 2019 Wentz, which was a really, really solid quarterback. That's still a franchise QB. So I don't know. It's tough. And at least you got Howell, who's a possible guy. He has some upside. I still don't really buy it, but at least you have a guy that has potential that you could develop if you really need to. So I think they probably won't look for a QB unless one presents itself, like unless a Russell Wilson in the world, someone like that. And like I'm not saying Russell Wilson will be available, but I'm saying like someone like where this past year Russell Wilson was available, something like that. If a quarterback like that gets available, then sure, go for it. But I don't really see it. I don't really see, who would be available. But you never know. You never know because you never really expect some of these guys to get available or request a trade, and they do. Eckham says Pedro is JD our RB3. No, I would say, I mean, it's tough because in terms of like true running backs, it's Gibby, Brian Robinson, and then either McKissick or Patterson. But McKissick is our best pass catching running back by far, and he's one of our better players. HTTR for life. Appreciate coming through. My guy, he says, what's good, Pedro? Just stopping by to show some love. Appreciate that. And I know you guys know HTTR for life. Make sure you guys go ahead and check him out. Post some great, clips from TV shows and everything, and also has great discussions. Does some all 22 as well. So make sure you guys check him out for sure. But yeah, I think JD, I mean, he's one of the most important pieces to this offense. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to say RB1 or RB2 for him because he's just a different type of running back. He's just a different type of running back. But, in terms of like actually getting carries, yeah, he might be a RB3 in terms of that for sure because Gibson and Robinson will get more carries per game than McKissick will. But in terms of their impact on the team, I would agree with, Philip, probably 1.5. Gibson's still probably better in terms of his total impact, but I don't know. I mean, if he's fumbling, McKissick might be their better or best, running back in terms of what he can do. His impact pass catching is really, really high. I mean, it wasn't just him who got hurt, but when he got hurt, some other players got hurt as well. The offense just tanked, man. He was really, really important to this offense, and it was really, really unfortunate seeing him get hurt. So hopefully he can stay healthy this year. He really hasn't had that many injury issues in the past. So knock on wood, he should be good. And then yeah, I mean, I like this running back room. I like this offense as a whole. And with every year, I mean, you say it every year, everyone's got to stay healthy. And the tight end room is not healthy at all right now. I mean, King Sean talked about it earlier, but Curtis Hodges is our tight end 1 right now with Armani Rogers as our tight end 2. So we got Logan Thomas, Samus Reyes, Cole Turner, and John Bates out with injuries. Your top 4 tight ends, or at least your top 3 tight ends, out with injuries. 2 with hamstrings, 1 with a calf, 1 with an ACL. So we'll see how these guys are looking injury-wise in the next few days. Hopefully we get a couple of them back. John Bates has been out for every day of training camp except for day 1. And then Cole Turner and Samus Reyes has been more recently on Logan Thomas. We already know that. I'm trying to think. And Trey Turner, he's been out this whole time as well. So I'm interested to see when he comes back, if he comes back. Maybe he retires. I think that was something funny. I think I heard on the JP Finley podcast or Washington Football Talk podcast. Mitch Tischer was like, I'm putting one chip on Trey Turner a couple weeks in a camp retiring. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we've already got 2 retirements in AGG and Trey Walker. Trey Walker retired today. So, the linebacker room already super low on depth. And then you lose 2 linebackers this week, 2 UDFAs, undrafted free agents in Trey Walker and Drew White. Not a huge impact, but the room's looking thin. They need to add another linebacker. It's way past due for them to sign like AJ Klein, someone like that. They have to improve this room. Emer says, need our tight ends to be ready by Eagles game. They should. I mean, maybe Logan Thomas won't be back by then, but I think he will. Is the Eagles game week 4 or week 3? I'm trying. Let me look at the schedule right now, but he definitely. I think he'll be back for then, and then I don't think these other injuries are that big of a deal anyway. So week 3 is the Eagles. So I think he'll be back by then. I think he'll be back by then. I think we should, I think, yeah. Ecom says, Pedro, if Gibby is good this year, should we give him an extension? That's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, it's not the smartest thing to extend running backs. It's not at all. Even the best ones, historically the last 4 years, almost all those contracts don't look good now. Like, Todd Gurley, terrible contract. David Johnson, terrible contract. Christian McCaffrey hasn't looked, the contract doesn't look good because the injuries. And, there's others as Zeke as well. It's not looking great. So I don't know what I would do with Gibson. I probably would keep him year 4 and then maybe franchise tag him year 5. It really just depends on how Brian Robinson's doing. Because if he looks good, then you probably like. I love Gibson, but like I don't know if you want to extend him. I really don't know. Like it's just hard. It depends on how much he wants, but that's a discussion for this next off season. But yeah, we'll see what he does or what we do with that. It's an interesting discussion for sure. Just depends on how you view the running back position. So I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Appreciate everyone for coming through. A little bit shorter day, but it was just me, so a lot more talking by me. But yeah, again, appreciate you guys for coming through. Tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'll have a practice video or I'll have something else kind of talking about standouts, but I'll have something. And then, yeah, I'll obviously have a recap on Monday from training camp, which I will be there. So let me know if you guys want to see a vlog or just a regular recap. So thanks, guys, and peace.